So prolific indie dev Droqen recently released 31 Unmarked Games, a mixtape collection of 31 bite-sized games developed over the course of the month. What did we think of it? So firstly, we probably should say that Droqen did provide us with a code for this,
Thank
but
you.
this will not hamper
Code H.
my opinion that this is shit, this game. No.
Oh man, worst game ever.
I also was going to put in most
Wicked,
recent
by the way.
game, and then I
Oh.
checked. He's released a game since this came out
Okay.
already. And I'm
So-
like, oh my
Most
God,
recent
this is
game.
crazy. This is crazy.
So my joke is that Mike and
It's
I
amazing.
had New Year's resolutions, new gaming resolutions that will make one game for the whole year, but we're very time poor. Whereas Droqen made a game per day for the month of
know.
October. And then he goes, here you
And they're
go,
really
here's
cool
a game.
playable games, no less. It's not just I know,
So I thought
They're
that
more
was quite
playable
funny.
than anything you guys have done.
Yeah, it's true.
infinitely more
Hey,
playable.
I released that thing on Game Builder Garage that was downloaded 1,000 times or
Okay.
whatever. So
All right, you get half.
Pretty good.
I feel like that's a tick, but I'm not going to claim it. Yeah, so you can buy the game on droqen.itch.io. Check that out. It's only $5. We should clarify. So have you finished it all, Mike?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Sweeney?
and we should also clarify: it's not 31 separate games. It is one game that has 31 games in the game. Because I thought I had to download 31 games at the start.
I don't
and then
know
I realized,
why you would ever think that. I know that that's what Mike
know.
thought, but
Because it was 31 on my. I thought they were each individually released. Because so he did one per day, and then I thought it was you'd have to download a game per day, and then I
that-
realized no, it's way better than that, and it's a really cool cohesive
Cohesive,
collection, and we might as well talk about that the
well,
way because
I
we've
just
all
wanted
played
to-
it, right? We've all
well,
played
no,
all.
that's what I wanted to get the context. So I started playing it ages ago when you reached out to us, right? So I got through I think 4 or 5 days, and then I tried to play it this week, but it was screwed up on my computer.
What do you mean? What happened?
I don't know. It was like I was trying to play it and it was like running at like half speed or something. And then I reset the whole thing. I tried to play it again and it just
Yeah.
wouldn't work.
You know what? There is a fix. I read about this online. You need to add more fans to your PC case. Yeah, they'll fix
Well,
it.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a shame.
I also played through all of the games.
Okay,
and-
so you guys are going to talk to it a lot more than I will then.
yeah,
Yeah, we played
I'm
through
ha-
all of them, baby.
Yeah, so I will just give maybe some context. So it's a little collection that basically started up, and you've got a mailbox with 31 tapes in, I guess, envelopes or whatever, right? And you essentially they're unmarked as per the name. And the great thing about this is that they're all just different games. So obviously, it's created in one day throughout the month. And what I love the most about it is once you've played it, you can actually create the label for it, which I feel is actually where the game is for me. But
That was really cool.
but this is such a cool feat of game development that obviously he's very well attuned to the engine that he's using to be able to do this. But just some of the ideas are so cool. Some of the games are better than others, definitely. But I think that's not the point. I don't think the quality of the games themselves are the point. I think it's the fact that I think back to when I used to stay at a house. I never had a Commodore 64 myself, but this house had a Commodore 64 and it had a whole big box of games. It had tape games, had disc games, and everything. And I remember in that box was a whole lot of games that didn't have labels, or they had handwritten stuff. So you didn't know if you were actually going to get something that was good. You didn't know if it was going to sometimes the game wouldn't load. Sometimes it would ask for a passcode that you didn't have. I kind of wish that happened in this game. But sometimes it'd be absolutely gold. Like you might get an impossible mission or a California Games or something. And that's what I love about this game is that it's kind of like, it's just the genuine surprise. What am I actually going to get? And once you're done with it, I sat there creating the cover art for nearly all of them. I got to the point where I was running out a bit of time, but I just loved it.
Yeah, I do love, so once you beat the game, or finish it, I should say, like each individual day's game, you can then, you've got your little cassette tape and you've got tiles from that game that you can drag on and create, very creative sort of like labels. And yeah, I think we all probably did the exact same thing of like, Mike doing dick pics,
No, I
the-
didn't. I was
Wow.
quite good.
Wow,
Yeah,
you've grown,
I
you've
think I had
grown.
too much respect for the game and the developer to do that.
And we should say the graphics like also emulate the Commodore 64, in my opinion. Like when you said Commodore 64, I laughed because that was exactly kind of the description. So for people that also don't know Commodore 64, it's kind of like, I guess, what would you say, Sweeney? The graphics are in between something like an Atari 2600 and an NES, that kind of style.
Yeah, I mean, some games were probably a little beyond an NES, but that's close
Oh yeah,
approximation, I
fair
think.
call, fair call. That's true. Yeah. So like, I only played what would it be, like a 10% or a sixth of the game, but I loved it. It was really really cool. It was a shame that it didn't work. I probably needed to delete it and start again or something.
Mm.
But yeah, no, it was really really interesting, and I did like, certain. There was one level that I was playing. I think it was like the 4th of October. I guess that's what I'll call it. Where you go through and you have to like destroy some of the terrain to get through, and then you'll get to the end and it'll be like, oh, and now I'll try, like it will say something where, oh, complete without destroying anything.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, wait a second. And then you go back and it's like all these kind of techniques of the game that you didn't realize you could
They're a
combine
lot
all together
deeper than
that
what
were
they
really
seem at
deep.
face value.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, this guy made it in one day. What the hell?
Yeah.
This is like way better than any effort I've done
well,
over
yeah,
the course
because
of
you
a
gotta.
month.
A lot of them, some of them are obviously a bit more simplistic than others, but each one has a bit of a quirk to it, and someone you have to sit down. So Droqen obviously sat down and had to come up with the individual ideas and the rules behind that game, not just designing the sprites and everything, but the whole concept behind it. And I so for example, and also. So my favorite game, and I'll ask you guys what your favorite game as well was, but my favorite game was the one where you're I don't know if you're a cow, because it's quite pixelated. So you're some sort of a cow, bull, rabbit hybrid that's trying to escape out of its confined space. It's probably like a cow or a bull eating grass. I'm just kidding. And to me, this is going to sound really wanky maybe, but to me it spoke quite deeply about the futility of trying to escape your environment, because this little cow has all this abundant grass around it, because you can see all this grass that you can eat, and there's a couple of patches in your own little confined space that you can nibble at, and that's all you get, and the rest is just fed to you artificially by the farmer. Whereas on the outside, it's just this open pasture full of grass. And what frustrated me is I could not figure out how the heck I could get out. Obviously, I'm missing something, just like I'm missing something in real life, trying to get out of this confined environment that I'm in.
Fill it
But
with
it really
material
spoke
goods.
to me. It's weird. I'm playing this freaking game and I'm like, wow, this is deep. This is so much deeper than just a simple game that someone created in one day. And I feel like he just put a lot of thought into stuff like that is a lot deeper than just the face value of playing a game. So yeah.
Yeah, some of these games, I liked that game, but some of the ones that really, really I thought were awesome was there was a couple of platformers. One was shown in the trailer there where you basically have to collect fruit, but there's like a little, almost like a slot machine thing on the side that says, if you collect this combination of fruit in order, you actually die. Or if you collect this amount, it shoots you upwards. So you've actually got to like plan out in which fruit so you actually traverse a level. And
Yeah.
again, like these games are really short. Some of them are tougher than others. Some feel like it was like, oh, you just need to walk that way and then you complete it. So like they're obviously very different levels of difficulty. But even there was a platformer where there's like these aliens where essentially they can like eat your head off, and then you just this body running around.
That was one of my favorites
Oh,
as well.
loved
Yeah,
it.
I was like half a body running around with blood.
and then that's essentially your second life. If they get your body, you're dead. But my favorite was absolutely awesome. It took me ages to beat it. Was the survival horror one.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
So you're in this dark, like almost like alien style
isolation.
spaceship.
Yeah.
And there's this alien that's it's basically alien isolation done in this pixel format, and you have to go to the monitors and you have to unlock all the monitors before you run into the monster, and you can sometimes see the monster on the radar, and it's like
you can on the monitors. Yeah, that's how you tell, because otherwise you can't see anything. It's just dark corridors. It's really cool.
There are a couple of games that I struggle with. There's some that I couldn't figure out. Like there was like one with ghosts and candy lollipops that I just really couldn't get the hang of. And there was one where it was you like basically like a spring that stays on the spot, and then you got to angle yourself and power up the spring. And I'm not a fan of those kind of games in general, so I did not have a fun time trying to complete that one.
But
I
the genre of games.
Yeah,
Didn't you
there's a few
finish
games on it.
the PS5?
Yeah, I basically I finished probably maybe like 75% of them, and there's a few that I
That's
just
pretty good.
There's
Wow.
a few that I just like. Oh, I'll come back to that because also I was a little
Yeah.
time poor. That's the word of the day.
That's the name of the
I think-
episode. Time
yeah,
Poor.
That's
that's
the
it,
name of the
time
episode.
poor.
Okay, I might as well edit it now.
because I was trying to wrap up like the last 10 of them, and I was just like,
Well,
oh,
it's
I
because
gotta
you were
get through
busy
it.
watching people watch other people
Playing
play video
31
games.
Unmarked Games.
I was,
Yeah.
but
You probably didn't. Did you even play these games, or did you watch someone on Twitch play these games?
I watched someone.
Did you
on
watch
Twitch,
me play them?
I watched someone on Twitch watch someone else play this game.
Okay.
No, I really love this. I think it is a game that if you've ever like played a system that uses cassette tapes to load up the games, it takes 20 minutes to load them up. I think it's the kind it will speak to you. I think it's
Absolutely.
really, really cool.
I think it's well worth the $5 for sure.
100%.
Look, I know I keep making claims on this show and everything, but I will actually buy this. I think Droqen
You
deserves.
don't need to. He's
No,
fine.
but I want to.
He's cool. He's cool.
Yeah,
Buy
I'm
his
sure
next
it's cool,
game.
but
Buy his next
I
game.
still. All right, I'll buy his next game. There you go.
It's
I'll buy
already
his
out.
next
Go buy it
game.
now.
I want to support it. I love this kind of stuff, and it's
It's
also
$100.
yeah, he'll probably like it. Oh, just for me, it's $100.
It's a Dumb and Dumber game.
But he, by the way, the context is with the new metaverses, Dumb and Dumber is going to come in as potentially one of the DLC characters. We don't know, and if it does, I have to pay for it and I have to buy them. Anyway, back
Come
to
on,
this.
we have to move on to the
31
podcast
Unmarked
with time
Games.
poor. Come on.
The other cool thing that I think was awesome about is we talked about the stickers, we talked about the variety of games, but also the meta games, the games that are about the game itself.
Yeah, they were really
they were
funny,
and they were intertwined with it, and it wasn't right at the start or right at the end or anything. They were pretty cool that they were sort of part of the experience. And I don't know if those were days when he's like, "Oh man, I've run out of time. I need to do something quick," or whether it was I don't want to speak on his behalf, or it was sort of like an intentionally planned.
Disparage him.
I feel like it was planned.
Day-
But I love that as well. Yeah.
Day 31, which I won't spoil, was really meta, but also the hardest game. That's one I didn't complete. So
Was
I'm
that the
still
one
gonna
that
figure
came
how
out
to
at the
complete that
end? When you pulled
I
in
don't
the
know.
tapes?
It's just Day 31. No, it didn't come out. It didn't come out last.
Oh, okay. I was
Because
wondering
it's
if
not,
it
they're not in
traded
order in terms of.
Well,
No,
I
I
wonder if
knew they
they're-
weren't in order, but I wondered
It's
if Day 31 was going to be the last one.
No, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah,
Cool.
it was a really, really cool experience. Well worth $5. This is something that would be awesome on Switch if there was a way for him to port it. It's a really cool.
you can port good. I don't know if you pronounce it. I've never pronounced it or heard someone say it. It's either Godot. It's Godot. I think it's Godot. So
Okay.
it's Godot, but I believe you pronounce it Godot. Yeah, people can port those to Switch.
Yeah, it would be cool if Droqen ported it.
Well, there you go. Why don't
it-
you?
it
Why don't
fit
you
really well on
be
it.
the publisher? You can stump up the cash.
Sure. Yeah, I'll stuff with the cash. Sure.
I'll connect you to. it.
Time Poor Publishing. There you go. You got a name.
Dude, that's actually a sick name for a publisher. Time for public. That's sick. I like that. That's cool. Nice work. You should put a TM
Very
on
good.
that.
Very good. You can be my brand manager, coming up with ideas like
Social manager, so you can post
that.
something.
My
and
social
going,
manager. Yeah.
Game's
Screw
coming out.
social.
Oh, the server's down in a day. All right, well, let's get on to our final special feature.